Hello everyone, my name is Hammonade. Um, this is Alkrty here. Today I will be talking to you as I promised last time that in the previous voice recording to talk about humor topic which relate to human rights. So international human rights law. When we talk about international human rights law, we have to talk about the fundamental of international human rights law. So the fundamental of human rights law, it is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This is very important document for human rights law, and this as I said earlier, this it has been adopted in the 1948 by the United Nations, by the United Nations of Human Rights. So this document is very important in terms of the human rights or international human rights law. And there is many or few of them, there is many convention and treaties that belong to the human rights too. So let's move on. What is the human rights covered? So when we talk about human rights, that means human rights has covers many topic or many issues that belong to the human rights, such as freedom are inherent to all human beings, regardless of their, as I said, any sort of discrimination, and it's equal and applicable to everyone. This human right has to apply to everyone, and everywhere, and it is and the everywhere of one of us, and is born free and equal, and it has dignity and right, whatever our nation, place of residence, gender, national or ethnic origins, color, religions, language, or any other status. The international community on the December 10, 1948 has made a commitment to upholding dignity and justice for all of us. So just to conclude this one here, human rights is for everyone, regardless of all this discrimination, such as ethnicity or colors or all this sort of thing. So human rights for everyone. Human rights are the basic freedom and protection that belong to everyone or to every single one of us. So the United Nations or the state around the world has an obligation to respect this human right. So international human rights laws is sort of is just basically is the obligation which the state are bound to respect by becoming party to the international treaties. State assume obligation and duties under international law to respect, to protect, and to fulfill human rights. The obligation to respect means that the state must refrain from interfering with or the state has to act and has to stop interfering to the enjoyment of human rights. The obligation to protect requires a state to protect individual or group of people against human rights abuse or violation. The obligation to fulfill means that state take a positive action. As I said, the state or the country has to act in a specific way in order to protect human rights. How how does the international law protect human rights? As I said, just by the state has to fulfill their obligation or commitment in terms of human rights. So there are different or a variety of human rights include civil rights such as right to life, liberty and security. This is what we call civil right, and there is convention. There is international convention of civil right. We will mention that later on as we go through this voice recording. And there is a political right too, right, such as, for example, I'm going to give you some example about political rights, such as the protection of law and equality before the law. And there is economic rights, such as right to work, to own property, such as house or cars, whatever property. Everyone has right to own, to have asset, and receive equal pay. For example, this is the economic right. For example, if we somebody being employed by someone, and the employee has um, to follow the regulation and the act in terms of how to treat the employee as equal without any discrimination, because for such reason. Also there is social right to education. Everyone has right to receive a education, to be educated, literate, literature. Has everyone has, to go to school and be educated, and and uh, and consenting to marry, or which means give permission to get married, and people has to consider that the child shouldn't force to be married, and and therefore uh, they should wait. The parents have to wait until they reach the age of consent, and they have to make their own choice. So there is no forcible. And there is cultural rights, which mean such as freely to participate in the community, in the cultural community, and collective right. And this one just talk about the which such as the right to self-determination. Is about the self right. I mean collective right. Um, as uh, as I said earlier, that when we talk about the international human rights law, we are going to mention the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and this is the most important document. As a matter of fact, this uh, it is the first time, the first fundamental human rights law to be universally protected, and has been translated into over 500 language. Okay, let's talk about the introduction, or the preamble, about the Declaration of Human Rights. So the introduction, it says here, all people everywhere have the same human right, which no one can take away this right. This is the basic of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. So the dignity and worth of all people, and equal right of all women and men, and the right to describe as, is human rights, as described as the common standard for all people everywhere. Every person and nation is asked to support the and understanding and respect for this right, and to take a step to make sure that they are recognized and observed everywhere for all people. Okay, let's go quickly and touch quickly the articles of the Declaration of Human Rights 1948. Articles number 1, it says um, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and right. So every person and nation is and everyone is born free and equal in dignity and with rights. So as I said earlier, there is no discrimination when we come to the human rights. Everyone deserves it. Articles number 2, it talk about discrimination. As I said here, there is no when we come to the everyone is entitled to all rights and freedom without any uh, sort of discrimination. So everyone, everywhere, has the right um, without any discrimination. Article 3 says everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security. Article number 4, it says no one shall be held in slavery. So slavery is prohibited by the law. So there is no one should be held as slavery. Article number 5, it says no one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. That's article number 5 here. Article number 6, it says everyone has right. Everyone has the right to recognize everywhere as a person before the law. Article 7, all are equal before the law, and they entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law. All are entitled to equal protection against any discrimination in violation of the declaration and against any incitement to such discrimination. Article number 8, everyone has the right to effective remedy by the competent national tribunals of acts violating the fundamental rights granted him by the Constitution or by the law. Article number 9 is talk about the no one should detain or arrest, especially if there is warrant of arrest by law. That person has to be arrested, but everyone has or get arrested has to stand before the court and has to give chance to get a lawyer and has to give a chance to defend himself. Article number 10 is talk about the uh, fair and public trial. It has to be equals and as I said, and it has to be impartial tribunals and the right of an obligation and of any criminal charge against him. Article number 11 is talk about the everyone is innocent until proved guilty. It is just very basic thing, very basic and fundamental right for everyone. Um, Articles number 12 is talk about the uh, private life respect. Everyone has a private life, and this private life should be respected by and protected by law. Article number 13, freedom of movement. Article number 14, everyone has right to seek asylum from persecution, even escape from their own country and has to get protection to other country or their country. Article number 15 is the is talk about right. Everyone has right a nationality. Everyone has right to get a like nationality, like passport and document that recognize himself. Article number 13 is talk about the social right, as it's married to right to marry without any limitation due to their race, nationality, or religions, have the right to marry and to found family. They are entitled to equal rights as marriage during marriage and it is dissolution. When they get divorced, they have the same or equal right between men and women. Article number 17 is talk about the everyone has even the economic right. Everyone has right to own property, such as cars, houses, land, whatever. Article number 18 is talk about the freedom of thought and freedom of thought and expression and conscious religions. This is right include freedom to change his religion or belief and freedom either alone or in the community with others to worship in private or in public without any fear. Article number 18 is freedom of opinion and expression. Everyone has right to freedom of opinions and expression. This is right including freedom to hold opinion without interference and to seek or receive any impart piece of information and ideas, thought and any media regardless of formation. This is the right as long as you respect other people's rights and the national security, so you have right to express your opinions. Article number 20, everyone has right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. You can join wherever you want to join, assembly, association or union. You have right to do that. No one may be compelled to belong to any association. Nobody will force anyone to join any association. Article number 20 it says talk about the you know everyone has right to join the government and be part of the government and be part of the decision making or makers to contribute to the country. So everyone has right to take part in the government of his country directly or through freedom through freely chosen representative. For example, everyone can introduce himself to be a member of the parliament to um, to um, to support or to serve his to serve it is his country, and everyone has right of access public service in his country. um, Articles number 22nd is talk about social security. Everyone has as a member of the society has the right to social security and welfare and entitled to realization through national effort and international cooperation and accordance with the organization and resource of each state of the economic, social, and cultural rights. Um, this is the article number 22. Articles number 23 says everyone has right to work, to free choice of employment, to just and favorable condition of work, and protection against unemployment. And everyone without any discrimination has right to equal pay for equal work, and everyone has right to justice and favorable remunerations, ensuring for himself and his family an exercise worthy of human dignity and supplemented. This is the article number 23. Article 24 is talk about the uh, everyone has right to rest and leisure. Article 25 is it says everyone has right to standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of himself and his family, including food, clothes, housing and medical care, and necessary social service, and the right to security in the event of unemployment, sickness, disability, widowhood, old age, or other lack of livelihood. Yes, quite scary, hey? Article 26 is talk about the education. Everyone has right to education and should be free at least in the elementary and fundamental, like primary school, um, and perhaps have prior right to choose which kind of education he has to receive, or his family or his children. Article 27 is talk about the cultural life of the community, and everyone has right to participate in the community in terms of culture. Article 28 is talk about the freedom of respect. Everyone is entitled to social and international order in which the right and freedom set forth in the declaration can be fully realized. Article 29, this is the article before the last one. Everyone has duty to community, um, which protect other people's rights. So when you practice your right, you have to make sure that you are not going to interfere, or you have to make sure that to respect other people's rights, and you have to make sure not to break the law. You have to obey the law when you are when you are exercising your right. The last article is says talk about the state shouldn't or there is nothing in this declaration that give the state a permission to not to let people or any person, or to prohibit any person right, even in the there is some right even in the when the state is declared that there is any um, emergency issues, there is some right still. The state uh, um, uh, shouldn't prohibit or not allow people to exercise their right. So we come to the end of this lecture, and hopefully um, we will see you next time. And thank you so much for listening. Also, we can talk about the Human Rights Convention, as we know that there is many conventions that related to human rights, and there is some of them. It's we call it the instrument. Has been adopted since 1945, and that including the Convention on Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide 1948, the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination 1965, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women 1979, the Convention on the Right of the Child 1989, and the Convention on the Right of Persons with Disability 2006. Human Rights Council. Human Rights Council has been established on the 15th of March 2016, and this one the replaced the United Nations Commission on Human Rights. And this one Human Rights United Nations Commission on Human Rights been around like for the last 60 years. just like since 2006 it's been replaced by the Human Rights Council. And there's other mechanism body here for human rights called the Council of Human Rights. The United Nations Commission for Human Rights, and this one here, this Commission for Human Rights is exercise principal responsibility for United Nations for human rights activities.